everyone, welcome back to my channel. Garden here in Toronto in Zone 6, and today I'm out in the garden just trying to prepare this little area here for next year to plant some vegetables along this back of the shed. So this is really a part of my garden that is highly unused, and if you've been following my videos, I've been slowly starting to add things in this spot. I have also planted some kale here, hoping that it can winterize and come back next year in this spot. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to create like a section over here. Obviously I need to make sure that the grass is dead, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try the no-dig method in the back here, cover it with paper or cardboard, and then add layers of soil and mulch and leaves and all kinds of organic material. As I clean out my garden, I can dump it in this spot so that it can decompose over the winter, and come next year this bed will be ready for planting. I can probably just add a little bit of manure to it and then plant my vegetables directly in this bed. So that's what I'm planning to do. What I'm going to do is, the soil is pretty wet and moist right now because it has been raining a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lay out my paper. I am using these waste bags, leaf waste bags, that I will be laying out in this spot here, and I will show you how I'm marking that area and what I'm going to do with it. So I'm really excited to kind of transform this area into a little bit of a vegetable garden patch and utilize pretty much every space in my garden to its full potential. That's the goal for me, and that's what I'm trying to slowly achieve in my garden. And on this side here, I do have some raspberry plants that I planted this year, and they are already starting to produce some fruit. As you can see, this is beautiful raspberry growing on this plant, and honestly these plants have taken a lot of beating. I've moved them around as I've changed my plans and done a whole lot of things to them, and they've still survived, and I know they're very hardy and spreading. So I'm okay if they kind of spread along there and make this into a little raspberry patch. I have a lot of sod over there that I removed as part of some gardening projects, and I've been collecting a lot of organic waste in there, almost turning into compost. So I'm going to use some of this to cover these beds and then cover it up with mulch so that it's ready for next year. So the plan is to kind of take a lot of this and dump it on the paper cardboard pieces and start the decomposition process. So I'll show you once I've laid out the paper and what this section looks like. So here it is. I've laid out these yard waste bags all over this area. As you can see, it's kind of covered in this paper, and the idea is to kind of use material that doesn't have any tape on it, any plastic on it, or anything of that sort. So these paper is ideal to use because it'll decompose easily into the soil, and it's not going to add anything bad into the soil. So if you have leftover cardboard, you can use that. If you have paper wrapping, like just brown paper from packaging, you could use that as well. So that's what I've done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give it a good soak of water so that the paper is not going to fly away, and then I'm going to start covering it with some of this decomposing organic material that I have in the back here. So I'll take you along. I'm going to wet this, and I'll show you what I'm doing next. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just thoroughly wetting all this paper so that it can kind of start sticking to the soil, and I'm going to give it a really good soak of water so that it is really drenched before I start piling on the organic material on this paper. So that's what I'm doing next, and just give it a good soak. And it's always good to do this in between any layer that you're putting in. So the idea is to have some mostly brown material, leaves and then some green material as well, about 30%, and kind of start layering it. So as the fall progresses, I'll also add a bunch of mulch leaves here in this pile, and all kinds of stuff as I'm cleaning up my garden. Just wanted to show you how rich this organic material is. It's full of worms, and that's exactly what I need to work on that soil and decompose everything that's in that soil. This is a really healthy soil that has been sitting here all summer and decomposing. So I'm going to use this to cover that no-dig bed. Here it is. I wanted to show you the progress so far. I am surprised at how much soil I have in there that has already been decomposed, which is so rich, full of worms and organic material, and I think I will have enough to cover this whole bed and add my green lawn clippings or just plant clippings as I prune some plants this fall, and I can put them in here and then cover it with leaf mulch. I think this will be fabulous for next year. Really excited to have started this and get this set up for next year, and it'll be ready to plant in next spring. So this is the progress so far. I'm going to continue working on it, and I will show you when this is all covered and done. So here it is. I am done adding a good layer of this compost that was in the back here into this new garden bed potager area, which I'm going to use for vegetables next year. And I wanted to show you that the paper is completely covered, and I think there is at least about 3 to 4 inches of this soil on it, which is, I think, sufficient because the soil underneath this is pretty healthy. And I feel like if I'm going to add like a thick layer of mulch. I've started to add some bark mulch here. So I'm going to add that layer of mulch, and then as the leaves decompose, I'm going to add the fall leaves in here as well, the shredded fall leaves. So I think amongst all that and all the green material that's in this soil, which is already decomposed really lovely, I'm going to just cover this up, and I'm going to leave this bed for all of winter to decompose and be ready for next season. And it's really exciting, really easy way to get a flower bed or a vegetable patch started for next year. Really, the soil has been extremely useful and healthy, and if you have a section in your garden where you can start composting your own organics, it is so much cheaper and so much better to use that. I mean, the soil was really, really healthy. Like literally it was soft. It took me no time to bring it over here and dump it and create this no dig bed. So I would highly recommend you trying this method. If you have time, this is the best method to use, especially if you pre-plan and if you know you want to create a section next year. I would get started this year and kind of put this foundation in, so that next season you can simply either, if you want, you can add a couple of bags of new manure on it, or if the soil looks good, you can just plant in it. So highly recommend this method, and I'm going to finish putting in this bark mulch, which I have started to put in, and I just wanted to bring you along and show you how this little section is evolving and how I'm getting it ready for next year. And really, like, it's just creating a really nice mix of plants. I do have a lot of echinaceas that I rescued earlier last month, and I planted them here, and they're doing really well. And I think this will create a nice pollinator garden for my vegetable bed for next year. And I'm glad that it started this year, and these plants will be ready to go next year. And like I showed you, my kale patch has been put in this spot, and I do have raspberries there, and I have a bunch of shrubs here. I have Sonic Bloom red vigilas. I have 3 of them planted here, and I have a 9-bark there, and another native shrub over there. So it's I mean, this kind of became from a dumping ground to something useful that I can actually utilize next year, and use even that fence to kind of grow some sort of a squash or zucchini, or even like a cucumber up that fence. So lots of area here, lots of area that wasn't being utilized, and it gets a good amount of sunshine all day. So it's a prime spot for me to grow stuff. Really excited to use this spot next year and intermix with even flowers and other little plants that will help with pollination. So that's it. I just wanted to bring you along with this no-dig garden bed potager area that I'm creating for next year, and I hope you found this useful. And if you've used this method in your garden, please feel free to leave comments and tips for me. I would appreciate that, and I am really grateful for your likes and comments and subscriptions. It keeps me going, and I wanted to thank everyone for watching this video.